Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be talking about stone runs, how to prepare for a stone run, and this video, to be quite honest with you, is probably more important now. So before we jump into it all, I'd just like to say, if you are interested in online coaching, online strongman coaching or anything like that, or you just want to get stronger in general, hit me up on my Instagram, drop me a message, and I'll send over all the details on my coaching if you are interested. And also make sure you give this video a follow and a like as well. So jump straight into it. So stones, they are very, very uncommon within strongman now, especially a stone run. And the reason why is I cannot sort of understand the reason why is they're a bit of a mess, to be quite honest, with attacking stuff that you can get within like gyms and stuff like that when you're trying to like do a local competition. So that's one reason why. Two, a lot of comps, especially like the local comps, you know what, even the national comps nowadays get a lot of sign-ups. So having like, you're gonna have to have at least two like sets of platforms for the stones to go onto, which takes room, expensive, and like at local gyms, you might have one, which then means that one athlete has to go at a time. When you've got loads of like novices, loads of inters, loads of first timers or beginners, that is basically going to take fucking hours and hours just to do one event. So I can understand it a little bit. It is just annoying though, because obviously it is one of the staple events, if not the staple event, to be quite honest with you, within strongman. It's how the competition is decided, and that's the reason why I'm doing this video today. They're very rare for it to come up a full stone run within a competition, but if it ever does, you're going to be fully prepared after watching this video. And like I said, usually the stone run is what decides the winner of a competition, because it's usually done last. So if you're going into a competition, it's got a stone run, you're within 1 point of winning the competition, you and someone else. All it comes down to is being really, really good at the stone run. This is, in my opinion, the best way to practice it leading up into competition. I've used it many a times myself and I've seen really good results. And to be quite honest with you, when I first got into strongman, this is something that I would do week in, week out. And there was like a sort of saying like 5-6 plus years ago when I first got into strongman, is you should be training stones on like a weekly basis, basically, because they came up in every competition, whether it was a stone run to finish the competition or it was stone for reps over a yoke. It was as simple as that. Nowadays, it's moved away from that, and these sandbags have sort of taken the role because they're a lot more accessible, a lot less clean up. You can have multiple people going at the same time, and you can do a little bit more with sandbags. So you can do sandbag loading, you can do sandbag over the yoke for reps, or you can do like a sandbag medley. So that sort of goes into like the details on why like stones have fallen out a little bit, but because it can pop up in a competition, I feel like this video is going to really just help people get a better understanding on how to actually approach a stone run. So it's going to be a really good video to maybe come back to after watching it, or making some notes on your phone or anything like that while watching the video. And then just keeping it in your notes page so that when it does pop up in a competition, you are ready to go into it. So without further ado, I've chatted enough. Let's get straight into it. So see if I can work this. Perfect. So get rid of all them. That's not great. There we go. So how to prepare for a stone run within your competition. So why preparing for the stone run matters. Like I said, it can come down to the finer details within a stone run. So you can lose the stone run or win the stone run within a second difference, a split second even. So you want to make sure that you are ticking off everything. Every little small margin that you can make within a stone run is only going to benefit you. And the way to do that is by practicing it. So that's why it matters, because at the end of the day, you are potentially going to win or lose, or even if it's the difference between you podiuming at the competition or not. Those little small details, they do matter, especially within something like this where it's most likely going to be quite fast. So there are going to be two different ways you can run this program. I'm going to explain both ways, and it depends on the stone run itself. So this is like a little bit of like a 6-week program to when you go into, like, as you're building up to your competition. So obviously week 6 is going to be the comp day. So week 1 is basically you're going to do 3 sets of the comp stone run, and you're going to do the full run without the last stone. Now, this changes a little bit. If the stone run is really light for you, I would just have the heavy stone, the last stone in there anyway. If it's going to be like quite a heavy stone run, ditch the last stone for the first week. You don't need to blow your CNS or blow your fucking self up on that last stone or anything like that. And the 3 sets, you're going to be mainly focusing on being efficient with each stone. So shifting along to the next stone, you're going to make sure your footwork is efficient. Each set, you're going to try and make sure that you're being more and more efficient. Film every single set and just try and make sure that you are efficient going from one stone to another. That's where a lot of people sort of drop time and lose a little bit of time, is their footwork when they're going into the next stone is a bit shit because they haven't really practiced it much. So they're not really in tune with what they should be doing. So that's where the practicing of the stone run is really, really important. Don't just do it a week before the competition. You need to be doing it a few weeks before. You need to be doing plenty of stone, like plenty of sets of it, so that you're used to the format of doing a stone run. Because there's not many times you're going to be doing a stone run unless it's within a competition, because it's effort to set up, it takes time, and I don't understand why you really would, unless you're just doing it for a little bit of fun, to be quite honest with you. So, like I said, week 1, do it without the last stone if it's a bit of a heavy run, especially that last stone. But if it is light, keep the last stone in and just practice being as efficient, because it's going to be even more important if the stones are quite light for you to be as efficient and as quick as you possibly can switching between the stones. The next second week, so we're going to be doing an undulating basically like model on this, so weekly undulating. So week 1 will be more specific and more like efficient with the stone run side of things, and then week 2, the other week, is going to be heavier work. So we're going to actually get your hands on a heavier stone so that you can get used to lifting a heavy stone, and the best way to be doing that, in my opinion, is doing it on cluster sets. So you've got a heavy stone, 90% of your 1 rep max stone, if you do know it. If not, pick a really challenging stone. Ideally, you want it in and around that sort of last stone sort of weight. If it is a heavy competition for you, you want it in and around there. If you don't know your 1 rep max, but 90% of your 1 rep max, you're going to do 2 sets, 5 to 7 reps. And the way clusters work is you're going to do have a 20 to 30 second rest period between each rep. So it's going to feel heavy. Make sure you've got plenty of tacky on the back of your hand as well, because you might need to re-tacky up in between your rest periods. But this is going to get really good exposure on a heavy stone itself, and it's just really good practice of lifting a heavy stone. I do believe you need to have good practice with both light stones and heavy stones, and this sort of program is a mixture of both, in my opinion. So you're going to be doing that for the second week. Then the third week, you're going to go back into a stone run, again trying to be as efficient as you possibly can. This time round, if you did it without the last stone on the first week, this time around you're going to include the last stone. What I'd like to say is, as well, you can do this, obviously you might need a little bit of help, but time yourself each set that you're doing, so that more than likely you can try and beat the time every single time you're doing it. So as you're getting warmer, as you're getting more used to the stone run on the day, each set you'd ideally want to be going faster and faster, just really getting used to, and have a game plan as well. Having a game plan is also what makes or breaks the competition. Now, you can be risky and you can have a game plan where you're going to one motion the first stone and then go last stones, you're going to lap them and go through like normal motions and stuff of loading the stone. Or you can be very, very risky and change your game plan and go, no, you know what, I'm going to one motion both. That's fair enough if you want to risk that on comp day. You're just feeling good, everything's moving well, and you want to shave off those extra few seconds. But ideally, you want to be practicing these with the game plan that you'd ideally use on comp day as well. So if you're going to one motion the first 1 or 2 stones, that's completely fine. Make sure you're doing that during these runs so you can practice your one motions to a higher platform or with a lighter stone. All right. So then week 4, we are going 5 to 10 kilos heavier on than week 2. So we're going back into clusters. This time around, we're going to do a little bit less reps, and we're going to go for the same rest between reps. The main thing that we are trying to focus on, again, I've put a 5 to 10 kilo heavier stone, because stones are a little bit awkward when you get into gyms. You might have access to a 10 kilo heavier stone. So let's say you're doing a 140 stone for week 2. If you then come to week 4, you ideally want to be doing a 150 stone. But if you don't have access to it, say the next one up is 160, what I'd say is try and go more reps than you did on the 140 on the second week. So I'd go like nearly 10 reps, to be quite honest with you. Then week 2, where you went to 7 reps, let's say. Or if you could only manage 5 reps, try and get to that 7 reps on this 4th week. That's only if you don't have access to a stone that's 5 to 10 kilos heavy, because going that a 20 kilo jump is quite a fucking big jump, especially within stones, so you might not even be able to do 1 rep on the 160. I hope that makes sense when me trying to explain it. And then the 5th week, we're going to be doing 3 sets of the stone run. Again, trying to focus with being efficient as possible, practicing your game plan, making sure that that's all ready to go, so that then when you come to competition on week 6, you can fucking just go send it. You know your game plan, you're ready, let's go. And the good thing about this weekly undulating model is this can be manipulated into using it on other events. So it works really really good for sandbags. So if you're loading a sandbag over, like, say, a yoke, you can go 1 week, you can do a bit more like conditioning side of things and technique side of things, where you can do like an AMRAP within 60 seconds on the sandbag. Then the second week, you could then go to a really heavy sandbag loading, again using the clusters. So load it over the yoke, rest for 20 to 30 seconds, then go again. Exactly works the exact same for stone over yoke as well. So you can take the principle of this program just here, and you can sort of rework it into fitting the event that you've got coming up as well. That's why I think weekly undulating on these sort of events where you're loading over a yoke or you're doing a stone run or something like that, some like very specific strongman events, this works really, really well with. I'd like to say like the static, very specific like loading events within strongman, this works absolutely perfect. So overall, I hope you enjoyed this video. It's, like I say, it's very short. If you did enjoy the video, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel. And then also, if you don't already, go follow me on Instagram. I put loads of content out there on there as well. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. Comment down below what you'd like to see next as well.